In this video, we'll talk about how to plan your own version of the sales discount approval workflow based on the template that's available in the Nintex Workflow Cloud. Now, Nintex workflows are really easy to adapt and update, but it helps to have a good design before you begin dropping components on the designer. Before we start talking designs, let's talk about what we're trying to achieve. You probably have an existing manual and semi-organized sales discount approval process, but that leads to a couple issues. You've got wasted time where you're inconsistent process and that some people are using emails, others are using text. Every approval request is a little different and not everyone's using the same process. You get false starts where people are asked to improve incomplete opportunities as the email and the Salesforce opportunities are not quite connected. And you have requests and responses sitting unnoticed, where one person is looking for an email and the other person has sent a text, or vice versa. You have lost revenue from incorrect discounts. This can get really expensive. And finally, you got decreased productivity for your sales staff. They're chasing down and fixing existing approval requests. They're not out selling. They're not closing the new deals, which means your cost per sale is going up and the number of opportunities that you can explore is going down, and that's not what you want. Now, every industry has something similar to a discount approval, a numerical adjustment that needs approval when a range is exceeded. It might be the new hire, it might be contracting rates for contractors like writers, models, and photographers. In all of these cases, you're going to need approval if it goes outside of a certain range. And this workflow will help you solve that problem. So who do we involve in this? Well, the first group we have to involve is the discount requesters. Do they understand how to start the workflow and what to do with rejections and approvals? Also know that if the workflow isn't better than the existing system, they won't use it. They'll come up with reasons to go back to the existing system. Discount approvers are also important. Do they understand when they have a request for approval and what to do with it? And will that notice stand out from the background noise? The process owner is another critical person to have involved. You need to understand why we're automating this process. Be sure that we are automating the right part of the process. And finally, IT. It's their systems. Do they understand what will happen, what the impacts are, and do you have their approval to go ahead and make this happen? So let's talk about the sales discount approval template and what it's really set up to do. Well, it starts when a Salesforce record is updated. Then asks if the discount is already approved. If that's the case, the workflow ends, no harm, no foul. This is very common in workflows to have a situation where the workflow triggers, then immediately checks for a condition and shuts down. That's okay. It's not costing you anything to keep looking to see if this is important. Now, if it's not approved, it's sending a workflow started email. This is a best practice because, especially in a workflow that may take a couple days or hours to respond, this way you're giving the originator the knowledge that they have triggered something, it is working. Otherwise, you've just started a process, you have no idea what's going to happen, and you're hoping that somebody will get back to you in a week or two. And in that case, if it didn't happen, you've really lost some serious time. If this was a sales discount approval and it took a week to find out that you didn't get a response at all, you've lost the contract. So our workflow has got a little automatic approval in it. What we're saying here is that if the discount is less than 30%, we're just going to automatically update and approve it, send an email back to the originator saying, you're in, you're approved, and then we're going to end the workflow. But if the discount is above 30%, we're going to have somebody come in and approve it. Assume this is, say, the territory manager, the area managers. It's a manager in the sales process. So they get a request to approve it. If they say no, we update the Salesforce record and it goes back to the original seller, and it's clear that they need to do a little more work on this contract. If they say yes, we also update the record, but now it's approved. And in both cases, we're sending an email to the originator, telling them what's happened, and we're ending the workflow. So you see here we have a mix of things. We have a filter at the top, we have a branching statement depending on the value of the discount with automatic approval on one side, and then we have a request for a person to become involved if it's greater than 30%, In all cases, we update the Salesforce record. We send an email back to the originator saying that it has either been approved or not approved, and the workflow's ending. So how do we start? Well, the first thing we recommend is that you copy the existing sales discount template, save it, configure it, and publish it. This gives you a working workflow that you can show to people who are involved in your discount approval process. You can get their feedback. It's much easier to see an actual workflow in operation than it is to look at a set of boxes on a whiteboard and give good feedback. So extend your workflow based on that feedback and ask for more opinions. At some point, you will get to a system where people are ready to start adopting it and they have a sense of ownership because they've been involved in the development. So the sales discount approval template is very simple because it's proof of concept, but it's extremely powerful because it's a system that you can use to prototype, to test, to get feedback with, and then to extend until you have a true industrial strength, enterprise level workflow. Now, for more information on this workflow and how to extend it, please go to our online community at community.nintex.com.